Hey y'all, it's Casey. Today, Constance and I are back to address the questions of when and how to check the status of a firearm as far as whether it's loaded or unloaded. So first, the question of when. Anytime you handle a firearm, you need to check to see whether it's loaded or unloaded. This can include if you are getting it back out of the safe that you just put it in, 5, 10, 15 minutes ago, earlier today, yesterday, and you knew it was unloaded when you put it in the safe, you're getting it back out, you still check the status of the gun. Or if you're taking a class from a certified firearms instructor and he or she checks the gun right in front of you and says it's unloaded and hands it to you, you check the status of the gun. Or if you're shopping for guns at the gun range or pro shop and the attendant hands a gun over the counter for you to look at, you check the status of that gun, because you're ultimately responsible for what comes out of the gun that is in your hands. So now how? First, I'm going to address the 4 stages a gun can be in as far as loaded and unloaded. And yes, I do have Constance on a mini quilt as my gun mat because I like to quilt. Okay, stage 1 is when the gun is completely unloaded. So this means there isn't a round in the chamber here, and there isn't a round in the magazine. Unloaded, unloaded, stage 1. Stage 2 is the chamber is unloaded, but the magazine is loaded. And I'll show you what that looks like. I am using what are called snap caps. So this is not live ammunition. This is made to have the same specifications as a round, so you can use it in dry fire training like I'm doing today when I don't want to shoot anything. So I load this into the magazine and I have the magazine put into the frame, and now it's unloaded, but the magazine is loaded. That's 2. 3 is loaded chamber, unloaded magazine. So when I racked the slide back, it advanced the round that was in the magazine and put it up into the chamber. And then stage 4 is loaded chamber, loaded magazine. So 4 stages: unloaded, 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 loaded, loaded, unloaded, loaded, loaded. All but the first, where the chamber and magazine are completely unloaded, means the gun can essentially be fired and harm someone. So the second question of how to check the status. So I have my finger off the trigger always, and I do the barrel check, magazine check in that order every time. It gets in a routine. That way I know I've done both. It doesn't hurt to check your work either, to double, triple, quadruple check the status when you're going through it each time. So with my finger off the trigger, essentially I pull the slide back just a little. I would say no more than a ½ inch. And we'll get into that in a minute as to what can happen if you pull it back too far. And I'm looking down the barrel to see if there's a round in there. And if it's empty, you don't see anything. If there's a round in there, then you will see the metallic circle. That's the end of a round. So once I do my chamber check, okay, this one has one in there because it's in stage 4. Then I eject the magazine, again, fingers off the trigger, and I can physically and manually see that there's also a round in the magazine. So chamber check, magazine check, and that's how I check it. So what happens if I pull it back too far when I'm checking the status? So let's say right now, there's one in the magazine, and I'm pulling it back. Right now, there's none in the barrel or in the chamber. It's empty. So I think, okay, good. I check the magazine. Oh, there's none in there. But I pulled the slide back enough to advance the round that was in the magazine into the chamber. So again, this is where double, triple checking your work can make sure that you don't accidentally end up with a gun you think is unloaded that actually has one live and in the chamber ready to go. So that is how and when to check the status of a gun to see if it's loaded and unloaded. Thanks for watching. Bye.